at KBC Channel 1 at Serfine_Achieng. Use the hashtag Newscheck, and we will be sampling some of your views as we proceed. Now let's kickstart with the new kid on the block. That's Dub K.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a party that was formed by a breakaway section of the Ford Kenya party, or how do you describe it?
I wouldn't want us to take it that way.
Yeah.
It actually, Democratic Action Party is hardly 5 months old. And as you know, to form a party, you have to go through a very vigorous process. One, you have to establish yourself in not minimum of 24 counties. So to say that it's a breakaway faction of New Ford Kenya is misrepresenting the facts. So I want to say we are not breakout. We are just new people in town and attracting new suitors, not only from New Ford Kenya, in all parts of the country.
All right.
That is the position.
I like how modest you are with this.
Yes.
But I'm looking at the names like Kandunyi, Member of Parliament, Wafula Munyinyi, and his Tongaran counterpart, Dr. Seli Simiu, who, you know, are a part of the leaders of this particular party. I mean, these are a team that were really, you know, at the center of the discord within the Ford Kenya party. Does it still not send any
true.
message?
That is very true. But sometimes when you are faced with a certain situation in your life, you're bound to make some certain decisions to move on with life. So to me, I would rather talk specifically on DAP, because that's where at least I have the authority to talk about. And I wouldn't want myself to engage myself as to what has happened new in Fort Kenya, because I've never been there, so I'm not competent enough to discuss that. But I can only discuss
how you're being so modest with it. You're still really insisting on being modest with it. But I understand you're not a politician. So let me just, you know, let's talk about this new kid on the block then, because that is where you say that is what you understand.
That's right.
We are almost clocking 90 political parties here. We've seen it. We've seen different political parties coming forth and, you know, talking to us about what is it that they want to offer. Why now, and what is this new thing that your party presents?
As Kenyans, we must appreciate that we made a constitution and gave it to ourselves. And we say Kenya is going to be a multi-party system. It never said that we are only going to have one party or two parties. If we wanted to do that, we would have done so. But as Kenyans, we are conscious, and we had good reasons as to why that Kenya will be an open society and multi-party society. So people should not be bothered at how many parties we're going to have. Just like even Christianity. People are not bothered how many churches are there, how many religions are there, so long as you worship your God in the way you want. So exactly that's what's going to happen. And people should not be worried. And to me, I'm looking for we can have 150 parties. So to be. So long as people are having their space, they are discussing their issues, and they can be able to prosecute their matters to a good conclusion.
To a good conclusion. I'm still coming back to you to tell me what is that thing that you're putting on the table for Kenyans. Think about that. But then, you know, Dr. Kimimi, I mean, you're looking at this, and it was just yesterday this news trended, and I've just, you know, probed him on the fact that the numbers of political parties in the country keep rising. First of all, your take about the new kid on the block, and you know where we are going in this country with regards to the formations of political parties and political realignments.
Well, I got quite excited because I just first saw it on TV yesterday. I had not even heard a rumor. So I gave them
it was a surprise. You know.
I gave them marks for giving us an interesting surprise. Because it comes, I think, 2 weeks after Ford Kenya had their NDC, and it was also looking well attended. But yesterday's looked like Allah, you know. We thought Akina Munyinyi are done with this game. Kumbe, they were also assembling their machinery. So to me, congrats, SD.
Thank you.
And I think it is high time we really embrace multi-party democracy. Although personally, I have a problem with multi-party because I'm a conservative. Like I told you, I am Kanu diehard. And if we go back to history, when the Section 2 was repealed and multi-party was introduced, many parties came in and tried to wrestle our party from power. And for 2 consecutive elections, we made sure that we won. In 2002, when the current president was running on a KANU ticket, after being endorsed, that's what people keep saying, but I think it was his time to test the waters.
Yeah.
When the KANU party stopped ruling and Multiparty was allowed to probably thrive, what I have seen is immaturity in terms of capacity to really sustain a president. Because NAC brought in Mwai Kibaki, and within 2 years it was dead. I don't know whether it's by default, I don't know whether it's deliberate or what I'm calling immaturity. That it could not even sustain his re-election bid. That's why he had to form PNU for his second term. Fast forward in 2013, PNU had died early, and Uhuru Kenyatta, it was transition. Uhuru Kenyatta formed the National Alliance Party, TNA, which actually was acquired from the late Ginjo Kariuki. 6 months to elections, it delivered the presidency. But immediately in 2014, TNA was so dead that I remember the second governor of Kiambu went for re-election, for a by-election after the death of the Kabete MP on a new party that was called Jubilee Alliance Party, which JAP, which was also killed, so that 2016 Jubilee Party was created that delivered the second presidency. So what do I want to say? I don't think Kenya is ready in terms of mature democracy for multi-party. And that's why I'm saying we need to go back to KANU.
I didn't see you go there, but that's besides the point. But then, are you saying that you have something against multi-party democracy? Because people thought this was something that made our politics progressive. It opened up our politics for different opinions. Sort of gave Kenyans a variety to choose from. Before you had only one thing to choose from. It's this or nothing. But after multipartism, Kenyans had a variety to choose from and have conversations about. Where do you sit on this subject?
I have a problem with just what the analogy I've given you. That there is no single party after KANU that has sustained
to the next
a president to get through his second term. So I think we need to, instead of registering very many parties, and I'm very sorry SG, because I think today is day one of your job.
And you're doing this. You want him to lose his job.
No. I think SG, we need sincerely to have a conversation about political parties and nurturing democracy, so that generations to come will look at us and see sincerity in terms of letting democracy mature. So I insist that it is high time we revisit, so that we will have celebrations like we saw in South Africa, celebrating the National Party 100 years, or in China celebrating 200 years, or in the US,
I think there's one thing.
As you add on to what she has said, is the problem multipartism, or how we have embraced it or implemented it? Is it us or the individual?
There's no problem in multiparty. There's no problem whatsoever. One has to look at the corresponding benefits that Kenyans have managed to achieve through having many parties. I want to appreciate the position of my fellow panelists. One is said he's a conservative. So he cannot actually appreciate anything new. That is him, that's her. And when you look at it, to me, I'm very excited about Multiparty. It has offered a position and a platform for many people, especially young people, to be able to showcase what they say that they can do. When you look at history, especially KANU, conservative as they were, you find they had close to the society. You could almost predict who is going to be a minister in the next government. You'll almost predict with precision who is going to be a member of parliament in a certain particular party. But multi-party created a forum that I don't need, honestly, to be connected or to know anybody in another party. I can just go get a party and contest. And when you look at the development that has happened after multi-party, politics notwithstanding, is enormous. Kenya has moved on. People are the country's making progress. This is part of the challenges like another country can face. So to me, I'm excited. It is a way to go. I know when you have been used to a certain way of doing things, when things change, you feel that things are not working well.
But how do you respond to the chronology of political happenings that she has cited? You know, let's not ignore what she brought up. The fact that these political parties that keep emerging, they don't have a shelf life sort of to transition to the next general election. What is it that we are missing?
You know, one, we are evolving as a country. The parties is talking about they're not even 10, they're not, we are not, there are many 100 years, like when you go to US, these parties have stayed for many years. So we are evolving as a country. Yeah? We are trying to get our level in terms of multipartyism. It's hardly, how many years we're talking about? Not many years. So we are evolving. We will reach there. But I can assure you this is the best way to go.
But how will we reach there?
You see, what you should be asking us...
These political parties keep closing shop.
I'm saying, you know, you cannot copy-paste from what is in China and bring in Kenya. And equally when you go to what will you say in a place like Italy? Every the other time the government, but the country is moving on. That is who they are. So even in Kenya, we have our unique characters. So we should not try to say that we must be like America, we must like be Britain. No, this is Kenya. We are doing things in a Kenyan way, democracy in a Kenyan way. And I'm sure when you look at now, what should bother us is this particular system, you know, improving our welfare, improving the economy, making the country move on. That's what we should do. But as to how many parties, just like I said, churches, it doesn't, when we have so many, it does not reduce our faith. We are still Christians, we are still Muslims.
I want you to connect this with the question I asked you earlier. Our appetite for forming new political parties. How do you justify it when it comes to the context of what is in the interest of Wanjiku? Why do we keep, you know, forming new political parties? And also, as you climax that response, tell me, what is it that DAP-K has brought in that will wow us? Something
what surprises me, this is not Wanjiku. I don't know who is Wanjiku. I could be the one, Wanjiku. You know what I'm talking about?
Wanjiku
you know, you took us Wanjiku is just a certain caller.
No.
Who must be, you know, appeased, who must be told this. No, Wanjiku is us. Yeah, we decide what we want to be. Yeah, and we have decided that this is where we want to live. This is what we want to do. You would have asked me, what is it that you're bringing on the table? And what is it that you want to do, what others are not doing?
That's what I've asked you.
You know, to me, that's what you should engage yourself in.
That is exactly what I've asked you.
You see, if you see that I'm using this door and one, when you look at, with the due respect with the so-called senior parties,
KANU party,
so to speak. I took milk.
Go on and on about that.
You see, when you talk and listen to what the Kenyans are saying, there's something that they're missing. One is that they're not saying consistency in terms of policies. They're not saying specific programs that can alleviate. So we are coming in to fill that void. One, people talk of corruption just by mouth. But when it comes on action, nobody is able to be able to say, let them bite the bullet and slay this particular monster. So us, as Democratic Action Party, we want to see whether, if we are given that chance, through our various positions that we have said, we can be able to contribute in a whichever manner to see that this dragon called corruption is slain. Because it's the single most damaging issue. If we just sorted corruption even for 30% only, we don't need to do much. This country will move on. It's so rich, it's so endowed with a lot of resources.
So corruption is your...
That is our core. We want to see that things are done well, that if in terms of costing, they're costed well, if it's something being done, it's done in a way that it has a value to the country. Yes.
The timing, though, of the launch of this particular party.
Yes.
Many are reading a lot from it. I mean, does it have anything to do with the discord within the Ford Kenya party. I just want you to use this platform to set the record straight, because the translation and how people have interpreted the timing of launching this party,
yes,
and those who were given the mandate to lead this party, Dr. Esele Simiu,
yes,
and Wafula Wamunyinyi,
yes,
and even we saw the presence of the CS Eugene Wamalwa,
yes,
there.
Yes, yes.
Does it have anything to do with the Western Kenya, politics?
I wouldn't want to say it doesn't have anything to do with Western Kenya, because most of these people, they come from Western Kenya.
Yes,
but
yes,
the bottom line, they're Kenyans. Yeah, that's the bottom line. And two, we have said we're just 5 months old. We had to have an entry point.
Why now?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And to be born, you don't choose when to be born. You are just born. And somebody cannot ask, why are you being born today?
No, you're being too modest with us. You're being too modest.
I'm not being economical with that.
Yeah.
I'm not being economical.
You're not telling us.
No, why now?
This is the catch.
Yeah,
being a new party, and you create an interest and attract an interest of sister leaders like Wamunyinyi, who is now a party leader, you feel that at least we are good people, and we are going to offer this platform, these people, to exercise what they couldn't exercise elsewhere, wherever they were. That's the position. And they're going to be movement, I'm telling you, as we go close to the election. Yes.
Okay. I'll still take you back there.
Thank you.
I promise. But just to give you a break.
Thank you.
Dr. Kimemia, I still want, more justification or otherwise of this appetite for the formation of new political parties, and whether you feel we have taken advantage of this space of democracy we are allowed as Kenyans to have as many political parties as possible. Has it worked to our advantage as a country?
I can say yes and no, because like I've said, in the last 20 years, we have seen, in the last 4 elections, we have seen the coalitions come and they offer candidates for different different elective positions and agree on who will be their presidential candidate. We have seen it segment the country into regions and strongholds. Like, for example, in the last 2017 elections, Kenya was divided right in the middle, with I think 25 counties going with Jubilee and 24 going with ODM and ODM affiliated. So it's a double-edged sword. There are benefits, like if you go to Eastern, that's a Wiper zone, and Wiper party dominates the county assemblies, and they are able to advance the agendas of their regions well. So I can say it has benefits. It has benefits at community level, because parties are the ones that really determine even the resource allocation and even membership in the country assemblies and in the National Assembly and in the Senate. So multi-party is healthy for our country. That is one flip side. Then the other side, we are seeing like that sharp division is also the cause of the many problems that we're having now. The corruption he's talking about. When a particular party takes the top seat, then there is the sharing of the so-called national cake, and you see massive corruption happening in the ministries and in the State Department and even in the counties. So it is double-edged, I can say, for free.
Before I come to you, how would you rather, if you were to describe the ideal environment, how would you rather we go about it in terms of our intention or agenda or our purpose for forming these political parties? If we are to form one, what is it that should be like the principles that we follow, ideally speaking?
The rule of law is I think, one of the most important thing, and every political party should advance really people-centered development, as opposed to party and my people, you know. That type of focus in terms of allocating development is not very healthy for us. So if people can, or political parties and political leaders can pay attention to the rule of law, to the programs that are in the budget budget plans, what is stipulated in Vision 2030. If people can lead their counties, if people can lead the ministries without looking where you are chama gani, then we can be able to deliver services to the people. Because the bottom line, and even why all these parties are being formed, is to connect with the people. So I am foreseeing these coming elections being very interesting, because there will be not one dominant party that will be at the lead. So I'm foreseeing no majority leader, you know. I'm foreseeing the National Assembly. Like now, if we look at the formations that are happening right now,
but politics can surprise you.
you know right now there is Azimio, and the next opponent is the UDA party that is propagating what we saw in 2017 at one party that has the majority. So I am foreseeing many people being attracted to Azimio, where you will not really shelf your party to join like ODM, but all support one presidential candidate. So I'm foreseeing a National Assembly that will have maybe 10 KANU, 3.
Are you comfortable with 3?
I don't know. Why she can't
3 members of parliament from DK, 3 from ANC, 3 from, you know.
As we are talking now, we are not even but we are already having 2 members of parliament. I can imagine after elections.
So there will be no party that will have a clear majority in the county assembly. So these are interesting things that will emerge, because the opposite of Azimio will not work. That's why I can see DAPK, ANC, Ford Kenya, predominantly in Western region. In Mount Kenya, you know, we have a Mount Kenya Forum, where Martha Karwa's NAC is there, Moses Kuria's CCK, DP, you know. We have also very many parties. My former governor, Kabogo, also has his party. So all those parties will have serious representation in the assemblies. So it will be interesting to watch. It will be interesting. This transition is amazing.
Maybe we'll have you here after the election.
Oh yes,
as a governor.
As a KANU governor.
To look back and see whether what your prediction actually came to pass. But when I come to you, Masanja, do you think, you know, we are in that space she's describing, you know, politically speaking?
Yes and no. I don't know how it's going to shape, but in the way it looks like it is going to be 2-horse race. And that's how it's shaping up now. And if that being the case, she could be right, that we are going to enter very interesting scenarios after the 2022 general elections. But to me, I think that's the way to go, that parties should be allowed to prosper, parties should be allowed to have their space. And sometimes they can have interest to converge at a certain idea and move on as a block without really collapsing your individual party. To me, that is quite pretty okay. All right.
As DAP Kenya, you've started with a sort of a clear mind, and your decision on who you're backing for the next for the presidential race in the next general election is clear.
Yes.
You're backing the ODM leader Raila Odinga.
That's right.
First of all, why? Why him?
You know, one, you get friendship with somebody, you resonate. You believe you have something in common. And towards where we stand and how we have talked among us as leadership of DAP, is we find he represents almost what we thought we could. And as I've said, we are 5 months old. Even if we wanted to offer a candidate for president, considering the time that is remaining, we cannot be able to man or to manage a very vigorous campaign because of logistics and kind of stuff. So we have to sit as a party and say, now, these are the scenarios, because we have to make a decision in one way or another and advise your membership. And we looked through, both history, present, and how an individual person has been able to present himself. And we find Raila represents exactly what we think we can. We might differ with other people, looking different way, but this is how we think that Raila represents a scenario whereby he can transform this country and move wherever we are, we're at the level we are, to another level. And looking at history and also his past experience, that whenever Raila has been involved, it succeeds. You look at the Section 2A, he fought very vigorously. You come to the Constitution and many other things. So to that extent, we thought we can reason it very well with his way of doing things, and we think he can form a good government, a government that's broad-based, and a government that can be able to respond to the various needs of the country.
All right, so let me take you back now to the Western.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, I'll take you there. And we will keep going back there because we want to clear there.
We will clear there. Rest assured. Yes.
So the ANC party leader, Musalia Mudavadi, who's also from the Western region.
That's right.
Wants to become the next president.
Yes.
We have Moses Wetangula, should I say the party leader of Ford Kenya, or should I wait for the courts to decide on this matter? But he also was given the green light by his party to become the presidential candidate for the party. They all come from the Western Kenya region. In fact, they did not attend the Azimio la Umoja conference on 10th of December, which many said was sending a very strong political message about, their plans for 2022. So here you are as a party, backing Raila Odinga for presidency. I mean, will there ever be a time when the Western Kenya region will speak in one voice or back one specific presidential contender?
That's where people get wrong. You cannot talk of Western Kenya without talking of Kenya. We are not, somebody does not have a president because he wants to be a president in Western Kenya. That's how we have to look at things. So if Mudavadi is, for example, going for president, he's not going for presidency primarily because of Western Kenya. That's to miss the point. So to me, this issue of being pigeonholed, that now you must think like Western Kenya, anybody coming from Western Kenya or Central Province, I think that we are missing the point as a Kenyans. First of all, if somebody offers himself as presidential candidate, he's not doing so because of the area he comes from. We can have different opinions. We can even be brothers, but we disagree on certain issues. When it comes to political issues, it is not like, how do I call it? You can be, for example, what tribe are you?
I don't want to say that on national TV, especially
I'm saying you cannot convert, like, for example, let me talk to my friend, he comes from Kiambu, he's a Kikuyu. I cannot convert to be a Kikuyu. You know what I'm talking about? I cannot convert, even if I so wish to be. I can only learn to live with her. You know what I'm talking about? So this is the issue of people think that when you come from a certain area, anybody come from your area wanting a presidency, you must support him. That is to miss the point. If this person is serious, let him mount his action, let him tell us what he wants, convince the Western people, as in the way he can convince somebody from Lokchokchogo or Mombasa to win an election.
All right.
Thank you.
You've explained very well.
Yes.
But for you to get and clinch the top seat, it's always a game of numbers, and there are a lot of calculations and mathematics that go, behind the scenes to make that happen. And getting the support from your backyard is very pivotal. If you're having three or two presidential candidates in one region, isn't this going to water down the kind of support that the particular region is going to give one of their own?
Let us not really devalue the issue of presidency, that watering down. You see, when you stand as a presidential candidate, in fact, we should not bother about where you come from. What should bother you is what are Kenyans going to look at me? You know what I'm talking about?
What of those things? What have you done in your backyard to inform whether we should accept in the national space? Because if, for example,
most of these people have been in national leaders, some of them are very senior ministers in the government, to ask them what they've done to Kenya is missing the point. We should ask them, what did they do to Kenya not Western Kenya, because Western Kenya is part of Kenya. Whatever he did elsewhere, he was doing to Kenya. So if we can do that, you find that fine, Musalia Mudavadi is good, or so-and-so is good, and we move on.
The modest Bernard Masanja. Let me go to the politician. Maybe I will get some answers on this. Do you agree with him that the presidency has nothing to do with what you've done in your political backyard, that whether the people from your home turf support you or not, it is not in any way going to have an impact on your competitive advantage in the national space?
Thank you. I come from a region that has presidents as a cash crop. Yes. That's what we say in Kiambu.
I like it.
Our cash crop,
you
our
can
presidents.
boast about that.
Yes, we can boast about that.
Yes.
But let me comment about the Western region, because to me, I'm academia.
Yes.
So I'm a historian, and I've been looking at the Western region. It's an interesting region, because I think significant number of votes come from the region. And from 2013, Musalia, let's say from 2007, when Musalia became a deputy prime minister, that's when, or slightly before, when he was a vice president for 3 months.
Yes.
There has been a chronology of events around the life and the person of Musalia that have really propelled him to be a presidential candidate. So he was Moi's deputy, even if it was 3 months. That was very good, because he's in history as having been a vice president. Then 2007, in the coalition government, he became the deputy prime minister together with Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the current president. 2013, he ran for presidency. So I think Musalia in himself really believes in himself as being a presidential material, and he offers himself. But unfortunately, Western region and Nyanza, I think, are joined at the hip. You cannot separate those two regions, because even if you look right now at the various economic blocks, the Lake region has 14 counties, the Western region counties, then the Nyanza counties, and also the 4 Kalenjin counties. They all form one economic block. So that area has a history that is difficult to dismantle, as far as their preferences for who their presidential candidate is. So Raila Odinga has been the preferred. Even right now, the counties, I think it's only one county that doesn't have an ODM governor, right?
Yeah.
The rest are all ODM, like the Nyanza counties. So those are the facts that cannot.
So these are things
cannot allow.
One needs to consider also.
Yeah, exactly. So Musalia cannot win over Raila Odinga, despite the fact that he's popular and he has what it takes. And I think I congratulate DAPK.
Get used.
I mean,
for running with Azimio, because unfortunately my party is with Weta and ANC leader Musalia under the Oka formation, and I'm sure all of you paid attention to what our big Kanu friend called Aturi said that at Kasarani that we need to run away from Oka. So I think we are talking.
Your body language is encouraging.
I mean,
so we are all.
You're already telling us what you think you're not telling us. Or am I the only one?
The body language.
Yeah,
is very
she's already telling us what she is thinking she's not telling us.
Yes.
Because Gideon Moi attended, the Azimio La Umoja conference.
Yes.
Is the One Kenya Alliance still one?
Yes.
No, just give us more than that.
She's now being modest.
One Kenya Alliance, we are very serious because, you see, we have done our NDCs and all our partners have offered to be presidential candidates. So that shows that we are serious as an alliance.
There is an alliance, but is it one? And should we still hope that there is going to be that big announcement of who is going to be the, presidential flag bearer?
I think we leave that to time, because time will tell. Kalonzo called his delegates and they endorsed him. ANC, I think, has not done. Weta has done. Even us, we did. We offered Gideon Moi as our presidential candidate when we met at Bomas. So that formation, just leave it out of Azimio. But
now you're becoming a politician. You're answering my question as a politician.
As Kanu, we are friends of Azimio. That's why my chairman was the only partner. We are brothers with the Azimio fraternity. But we are in alliance with the others that have offered presidential materials to the public.
Be careful, you get out of this constitution, this studio.
I think she's already telling us something. If you're carefully listening and reading between the words.
Leave our One Kenya Alliance alone.
Is it one though? Should we still call it the One Kenya Alliance?
You know, we are democratic and we are friends with everybody.
Talk about your presidential flag bearer, Senator Gideon Moi. What do you think he has that would actually help him tighten his grip around the presidency if we are to see his name on the ballot?
Going by what is happening in the current space, Gideon Moi is one person every Kenyan should watch. I remember after the BBI, when all the senior party leaders met, the president, Raila Odinga, the Oka fraternity, they met in State House and they did a statement. They issued a public statement. Remember who read it? Gideon Moi is the one who read the statement. The president stood behind him, Raila Odinga stood behind him, and all the other senior political party leaders stood behind. Gideon Moi is the one who read. So that should tell you that we are making serious progress towards State House. It may not be in 2022, but
and there you go again with
Kanu Party.
You heard that one. There you go again with another.
And our Gideon Moi